Fire Lizard Life-Size Sculpture. This is a MOC by Dave Holder, a very talented designer of amazing building block sculptures and a winner of LEGO Masters Australia. Don't get distracted by the MOC's generic name, it clearly depicts the Pokémon Hitokage, in English known as Charmander, in French Salamèche, and in German it's the cute Glumanda. The life-size model of Charmander is 60 centimeters tall and consists of 4015 bricks. You can get the instructions for about €83 on brickabuilds.com. I haven't built a MOC yet, but no matter how cool the MOC is, that's ridiculously expensive. Thanks to a coupon, I paid a little less. I paid about €74, but that's still too much money. I know that making instructions is very time consuming, but this price tag is just crazy. Extremely specialized books which contain a professor's whole life's work of research costs less. In general, this is simply too expensive for only building instructions. And even in particular, this is too expensive for digital instructions of a MOC of that size. Other MOCs with such expensive instructions are way bigger. I also think it is quite problematic to charge so much money for something which clearly depicts a copyright protected character. Don't get me wrong, I think it's great that this MOC exists, and designers definitely should be allowed to publish instructions for their building blocks fan projects of pop culture themes. I also think it's okay that they get a small compensation for their work, but this here is just too much. On this channel, I show a lot of blue brick sets, which very often circumvent licensing rights when depicting pop culture stuff. I think doing this as a bigger company might be morally even more problematic. But at least they publish their instructions for free. I can tell myself that I'm mostly paying for the bricks. Well, talking of bricks, this MOC can be bought with bricks too. €1,070 for a set of digital instructions, bricks which are pre-sorted to the individual building sections, and a light kit. But shipping is free. I would recommend sourcing the bricks yourself. You can save several hundreds of euros when sourcing LEGO bricks yourself. And if you decide to source bricks by other manufacturers, you can save way more. I paid about €130 for the bricks, plus about €18 for shipping. The instructions do not come with a recommendation for a light kit and how to install it, so I didn't bother to get a light kit. Those aren't cheap anyway, and I doubt that I would have used it regularly. The building instructions consist of 6 PDF files, and those are called books, books 1 to 6, and each of those books consists of several building sections. Those building sections are simply numbered after the bags to which the bricks are pre-sorted when you buy the complete set, the instructions with the bricks and the light kit. So in my case, I sourced my bricks myself, and yeah, this means that the building sections do not matter for me at all. Besides the instructions, we also get the parts list. We get it as a PDF file and also as a text file. The text file contains the parts list formatted as, in XML, so that you simply can copy the whole thing into Bricklink and order your bricks. And then the final file, which comes with the purchase, is an HTML file, which simply redirects you to the page where you bought the set, brickabuilds.com, and There you get some standard information about how to build a building block set and where to purchase your bricks and so on. So, these are all the pieces I'm going to use. And as you can see, we are really using bricks, proper bricks, not just simple one by one pieces. No, we are working with a lot of bricks. Have a look at this huge amount of 2 by 4 bricks. This is so cool. I'm really looking forward to build Charmander. I think this build is going to be much fun. Oh, and besides all those pieces here, we also need this huge plate here, this base plate. It wasn't mentioned in the parts list, but it was mentioned in the MOCS description that we are going to need this. So Charmander is built on top of that plate. I don't really like the plate. I think it doesn't really look that good. So I hope that I will be able to build the Pokémon without the plate. Or maybe I just need the plate at the beginning to give the whole build some support. But then I hope I will be able to remove the plate during one of the later building steps. But this is something we will find out later. For now, we are going to start with the first book. So in step 1 we simply place the huge plate, and then everything starts with step number 2. I'm coming back to you as soon as I see something interesting or something simply doesn't work as shown in the instructions. Step 12. We have placed the first layer of plates, and I think this looks quite funny. Just like a nuclear medicine specialist who scans your body with his expensive machines and digitally divides your body into several layers. And now we have a look at the lowest layer. The layer which touches, the ground. And I think those are the only 3 spots at which Charmander, touches the ground. From now on, we only go upwards. And now we start to place the first bricks. Those are just 1 by X bricks, not 2 by X bricks, but at least it's placing bricks, and placing bricks always is way more fun than placing plates. Step 27. For the inside of the tail, we use pieces which are quite colorful, and I know that some people get quite annoyed by this, but I think as long as these bright colors aren't visible from the outside once the build is completed, then I really don't mind. Those help a bit during the building process. They give us, some kind of orientation. And why not help people who have, problems with concentrating or are simply not used to building, construction block sets. And so, as long as these pieces aren't visible once the build is completed, I really have no problem with them. Step 107. We have completed the first book, and this is how our lizard looks right now. As you can see, we already have started to build the tummy, and it is connected to the legs via these 2 by 4 bricks. So 4 stats connect the tummy with this leg, and these 4 stats connect the tummy with the other leg. I think I'm not going to remove the whole build from this plate yet, because I fear that this connection here isn't sturdy enough yet. I wait until we have connected the tummy in a better way to the legs, and then I will try to remove the build, yeah, from this plate here. I think removing the legs should be quite easy, but I'm a bit afraid that when I also have to remove the tail at the same time, that I somehow will, yeah, destroy our build. But we will see. Now it's time to continue with the second book. Step 202. We have completed the second book. And yeah, our lizard looks like this at the moment. As you can see, we haven't reached the hip yet, but I think since the build is quite sturdy at the moment, and I think it's also not yet too tall, so this should be the perfect time to try to remove the build from its base plate. Let me place the camera, and yeah, then we are going to try it. I think I will start with the legs, with the feet better said. Ooh, this is very sturdy. I hope this isn't a stupid idea. I didn't expect it to be interlocked that well. Should I really do this? Maybe I can get the help of a brick separator. What about a tail? Maybe it's easier to start here in the back. Oh, that's also very sturdy. But I think I managed to remove it properly. Yeah, okay. Then let's see. Here is one plate which did stick to the base plate. Alright. In the back it's off. Then let's try the legs again. Maybe I should try this leg first. I fear that this might be really stupid. Well, the soles stayed on the base plate, but I could really remove the biggest part of the foot, if I'm not wrong. And let's try again here. Oh, damn it. Yeah, alright. Let's have a look at what I have done. So, I think the lizard is loose now, but as you can see, Some pieces still stick to the base plate, but I should be able to simply remove them from the base plate and add them to our model again. I'm going to do that right now. Yay! I managed to do it. So here is the lizard and there is the empty base plate. Maybe this wasn't the most intelligent method to separate the lizard from the base plate. Maybe I simply shouldn't have used the base plate at all. But it did help me during the building process, so I really don't think it was too bad to do it like this. Alright, then now let's go on with book number 3. Step 289. It seems that we are starting to build Charmander's torso no longer symmetrically. So when you have a look, for example, at this 2x3 brick, you can see that it sits one stud closer to the right than this 2x3 brick sits to the left on the opposite side. But this makes sense. At some point the torso simply can't be symmetrically any longer, because Charmander is displayed in this special pose where it raises one arm but it doesn't raise the other arm. And yeah, because of that, the two sides somehow have to differ from each other. Here you can see the pose. So this side is the side with the raised arm and the opposite side is the side without the raised arm. Step 297. At the moment we are building a bigger segment. I guess it's going to be one of the arms. But yeah, so far we haven't really come far. You can see the segment is still quite tiny. But now we have these 3 sub-steps here and we have to use these pieces here. It isn't so easy to see where the individual pieces go. You can't really distinguish all the plates from each other. What is a 1x1 plate? What is a 1x2 plate? What is a 1x3 plate? What is a 1x4 plate? It's simply not visible up here. But when you analyze how it is connected to this other little segment here, then you should be able to find out. Let's see. So I think we have to place one of those slopes on this 1x3 plate, one of those slopes on this 1x4 plate, and then I think this is the 1x1 plate, so this should look like this, and then we place this like this, and we place that over here. We fill in this gap with the 1x2 plate. And now we should be able to connect these 2 segments. And now down here there shouldn't be any gap left. I think this looks alright. Step 311. Okay, we have completed the segment and now it's time to connect it with the body. Like this. Step 329. We have reached halftime. We have completed book number 3. And yeah, as you can see, we have built more or less the complete lower body part of Charmander. And now, in book number 4, it's time to start with the upper part. I guess we are going to complete the arm, but I'm not really sure about that. We will see. Step 428. We have completed the torso. I think we are done with this arm here. We can already see parts of the other arm. And yeah, what we are starting to do now is to build Charmander's head. Step 470. We have completed book number 4, and as you can see right now we are building Charmander's head. And so far we have built a part of, the head's lower end. Then let's continue with book number 5. Step 541. Our build has gotten quite tall, and as you can see, it's completely hollow. This is quite problematic because sometimes you accidentally drop a piece and it lands somewhere in there. And yeah, you really need thin and long arms to reach all the way in there. This opening up here is quite narrow. I think this really shouldn't get any more narrow or deeper, otherwise I wouldn't be able to reach for the pieces. Step 563. Right now we are building Charmander's upper jaw, and 4 of the pieces we have to place in the step are these 4 1x2 plates. 2 of them are placed here and here, that's no problem at all, but the other 2 are placed here and here. And this is a bit problematic. Have a look here. There is a gap. So this means we are supposed to place our plate like this, with a gap in between. It's not interlocked with the plate below. It's just, levitating. And of course, the same on the other side. Like this. And of course, this is impossible to build. Let's have a look at the next step. Maybe there things clear up. Nope. There's still the gap. And here in this step we can clearly see the gaps on both sides. I don't know. I think for now I'm simply going to interlock the plates with the plates below like this, and maybe they are held in place in a later step by plates from above. But this is something I don't know yet. Step 566. I think these 2 problematic 1x2 plates, which I have mentioned before, were simply an error. So I think we do not have to place them at all. Have a look here at this step now. We are building these 2 segments, and we have to place them on these 2 problematic 1x2 plates. Let's just do it on this side. And then you can see that this 1x2 plate is aligned with this 2x3 plate. But this shouldn't be the case. It should be positioned at least, or no, exactly 1 plate lower. And let's have a look at the next step if it is some kind of problem, if it isn't placed a plate lower. It is a problem. Here you can see that the gap is filled with this 2x3 plate. So I think what happened here is that the designer placed those two plates in his computer model first and then inserted these bigger plates. And yeah, these other 1x2 plates which we have put on those plates are simply not needed because they were placed in the step below, in the step earlier. But since they were placed in a position which is unlogical to build, yeah, he simply forgot to remove them in the earlier step. So he placed them again. I think this and that is identical. Those two plates are identical. So we only need them one time. Which means I'm going to remove that plate and I position this one right here, and I'm also going to remove that plate. And I interlock the other segment here. And I think this should be correct. So I guess this also means that there are two 1x2 plates too much in the inventory list. Step 616. At the moment we are building Charmander's eyes, and right now we are placing all these bricks here. So when you have a look at this 1x4 brick which we just have placed, you can see that it is connected to these two studs over here, but the other two anti-studs are just hovering in the air. They are not interlocked to anything else. Normally this isn't really a problem, but when we have a look at the opposite side where we have done the same, just mirrored, there you can see that this brick sits on a 10 2x2 brick. But we haven't placed any brick here. So here's just a gap. Of course, it is possible that I simply missed to place this piece. But when we have a look at the instructions at the step before, there you can see that this 2x2 white plate still is uncovered. There is not such a 2x2 brick sitting on it. This isn't really an error, but it somehow triggers my inner Adrian Monk because it breaks the build's symmetry. Step 618. We have completed the 5th book, and Charmander looks like this right now. You can see it's slightly creepy with only half a head. So, in the next book, which is actually the final book, we are going to complete the build, of course. So the upper part of the head is still missing. You can see that we only have built half of the eyes, and the little flame at the end of Charmander's tail is missing. Step 663. We are still building Charmander's eyes, and for that we also need this little segment here, which is built in snot technique. This isn't really anything special, so we simply have used a brick modified, to which we added several plates and a brick. But I'm showing you this since this is the first time that we have used any kind of snot technique for this build. The whole build only consists of putting one brick on top of another one, and so, at least for this build here, this is something special. Step 726. We are giving Charmander some teeth on its upper jaw, and for this we are using this MOC's most advanced building technique. Well, this technique isn't really advanced, but It's definitely the most advanced what we have done in this set. So you can see we got these three pieces: a cone, a 1x1 round plate with open stat, and this little bar. And what we are doing now is to put the cone on the plate, and then we put this bar in the cone plate combination like this. And what we want to do is to stick the bar all in that it fills up this open stud here, or the tip of the cone. You need some pressure to do this. You have to use a bit of muscle strength. So let me try to do it like this. And yeah, that worked properly. Now we can add this tooth to Charmander's upper jaw, and you can see that somewhere up here there are clips. Yeah, here. There is a clip, and above that clip, somewhere inside the jaw, there is another clip. And we simply have to slide it in there. Like that. And now Charmander got all its 4 teeth. And I think we are done more or less with Charmander itself, but what's still missing now is its tail's tip, the little flame. Step 747. This is the lower part of the flame, and as you can see over here we got a little gap, and I assumed that this gap is there on purpose so that we can, I don't know, lead out some cables for the light kit. But it seems that there isn't supposed to be a gap. Have a look here. In the step we are placing a orange 1x2 brick there. But this is very strange to place it there after we already have placed this plate. I mean, the 1x2 brick, which we are supposed to place now, sits between the plate and this 1x2 brick below. But here it is. But in an earlier step, you can clearly see that there still is a gap. It would have made more sense to place it already in step 743, for example, or even better in 742, where we also placed the other 1x2 brick. Step 765. We have completed the build. This is really a huge fella. Well, in the last few steps, we have built Charmander's, the flame which sits on the tip of Charmander's tail. And as you can see, the upper part of the flame is only connected with these 4 studs here to the lower part of the flame. And this is done so it's easier to open this whole segment. This is necessary because you can put a light kit in there to illuminate the little flame. Originally, I think Dave Holder had created this whole segment with normal bricks, not with translucent bricks. But there's a video on the Light My Bricks YouTube channel, and those guys are the experts for light kits, for Lego sets and so on, and also for MOCs. And yeah, in this video you can see that he alters his MOC to make it possible to put a light kit in there. And yeah, this alteration was that he placed these translucent bricks here. Then one of the guys of Light My Bricks put some of their LEDs and flicker boards and I don't know what inside this little compartment here. And yeah, then the whole thing really was flickering in very interesting lights. It looked really cool. But I had a look what all these pieces needed for, yeah, enlightening this little flame here would cost, and you have to pay about 100 euros if you want to use the same pieces that they used in that video. And this is just too much. I'm sure Light My Kids have invested a lot for developing these LEDs and flicker boards and their very thin cables, but I'm definitely not going to pay 100 euros just to have a light on this little flame. Okay, maybe if you have paid over 1,000 euros to create this huge Charmander, then additional 100 euros might not be that much, but I'm not going to pay that much money for a light kit of that small size. What I'm going to do is now that I try to, yeah, simply build something myself, and yeah, I will have to try out what I'm going to do here. I will come back to you. So, what I did was to use some flickering LEDs, which actually belong to these T lights. I simply ripped them out of there. And yeah, these two T lights were pretty cheap. They did cost me 50 cents. So, one LED for 25 cents, one flickering LED for 25 cents. I guess you can get them way cheaper when you order them online. Maybe, I don't know, 2 cents for such an LED. I have no idea, but I could find this at my local supermarket, so this was very convenient since I didn't have to order it and didn't have to pay any shipping costs. And then I cut off a part of an old cable. And yeah, I removed all this insulation here so I could get the copper, and I used the copper as very thin wires, and I connected one of these copper pieces to one of the contacts of each LED, and I put the LEDs, I pushed them in this 2x3 plate with 3 holes, and yeah, I used some tape to pin down the LEDs there so that I can work with them, that I can add the copper and so on. And now let's see if the whole thing works. Oh, by the way, these T lights also included these batteries, these two, so I think the price is totally fine. But now let's see what happens when I connect the 2 little wires with the battery. Alright, nothing. Let me try it the other way around. Yeah, it works totally fine. Okay, so I have also added a 1x1 round plate to the top of this 2x3 plate, or oh, it's a 2x4 plate. And yeah, this round plate comes with a hole in it, but this doesn't really matter. And now I'm going to connect it to this upper part of our little compartment for the light kit, like this. And I think I'm simply going to use some tape to connect the battery to the wires. And then the whole thing goes in there like this. So I have connected the wires to the battery, and then I have placed everything inside the flame. As you can see, I already have turned off the big lights, but let's also turn off this lamp here, so that we can clearly see the flickering effect on camera. I think it looks quite well. Of course, this can't be compared to a kit by Light My Bricks, but come on, it didn't take me 10 minutes to create this with some random pieces. And I paid 50 cents for this, and I even have spare battery. I think for €5 more I could even get a USB power supply so that we could use this without batteries. This really might not look as good as a Light My Brick set, but it doesn't look bad either, and I don't think that it looks 200 times worse than a Light My Bricks kit. I'm totally fine with this. For me, this totally does the job. I'm not going to pay €100 for a little flame, and this looks well enough. I doubt that I will very often use this light effect, so that's totally fine. Okay, now I'm going to turn the lights back on so that we can have a closer look at Charmander, or better said, a better look at Charmander, because we can't really see the details in the dark. This life-size Charmander really looks amazing, but I have never noticed that it has got such a huge head. I'm 3 times as tall as this little fella here, but have a look at this huge head. The size of my head definitely can't compete with the size of his head. Well, so let's have a look at this guy. You can see that it's bald, like the real Charmander. Then it comes with these huge anime-like eyes. It also has got some eyebrows. And we can even see the nostrils here in the front. This is very cool. It has opened its mouth, and yeah, we can see its 4 cute little teeth. But I think those are maybe even a bit too small. Then we get to see his arms. One is raised, the other isn't. I think it's greeting us. Hi there. And yeah, here's its huge, cute tummy. And I never noticed how broad-hipped Charmander is. Have a look at this. That's really funny. Stupid, sexy Flanders. And yeah, then here are the quite short but very muscular legs, which end in the feet, which also come with claws. Then let's try to turn the build around. It's very heavy, so I will need a moment. Yeah. Alright. Here on the back, we get more or less exclusively orange to see. But come on, the shape just is perfect. Have a look here at the tail. And it ends in this little flame here. Of course, it's a fire Pokémon. It's really astonishing how well made the shape of the whole build is. I'm not a big fan of visible stats normally, but I think for a brick build sculpture, this is just perfect. I definitely have no problems with visible stats on this build. It looks great. It just looks like one of those sculptures you see in Legoland. Amazing. This MOC really looks amazing, and I had much fun with building it. The instructions are absolutely easy to follow. I think there are one or two minor errors, but those really do not matter. I think it's quite obvious that you will not find any complex building techniques in this MOC. It's just putting one brick on top of another one for the whole build. But nevertheless, you have to concentrate a lot due to the sheer size of this orange Pokémon here. You very easily accidentally put a brick at the wrong position, and then after several steps you notice it and yeah, have to correct it. I think it was a good decision to remove the gray base plate on which Charmander normally stands on. This gray simply doesn't look cool, and without it, it looks way more elegant. And I can also recommend to simply put some very cheap flickering LEDs inside the flame on its tail. I don't think that a light kit is necessary. Just do something yourself. This totally does the job. This is a huge build, and a huge build also means a huge amount of bricks. And a huge amount of bricks means that things can get quite pricey. I wanted to save some money, and because of that I didn't use Go bricks or even Lego bricks. Normally I try always to use Go bricks when I have a build with a lot of visible stats, but yeah, this was just too expensive for such a huge build, and that's why I went with cheap bricks, which come sadly with ugly injection holes. Okay, some of the pieces have quite fine injection marks, that's totally fine, but let's have a look here at the top. Here you can see that we get quite visible injection holes. But I think for such a huge build, that's okay. The build is so huge that you normally have a look at it from quite a distance, and yeah, from such a distance you can't really see the injection holes. So yeah, use some cheap bricks. That's a great way to save money. Sadly, where you can't save money is with the instructions. Those are exorbitantly expensive. Of course, you can use a coupon and then you can save at least a few euros, but nevertheless, they stay expensive. But have a look what they made us do. I mean, the result of the instructions just looks amazing. And so I guess it was money worth spent if you like these kind of construction blocks builds. Maybe simply do not buy instructions from them every week. That might bankrupt you. My passion for the Pokémon franchise might have cooled down in the last 25 years, but I still love Pokémon Red and Blue, and since I had so much fun with building Charmander here, I'm really hooked now to these huge Pokemon sculptures. And if I get the opportunity without bankrupting myself, I will build Squirtle and Bulbasaur too.